Hi, welcome to the TMC Newsroom. I'm Greg Galitzine, Editorial Director of TMCnet. With me is Rich Tehrani, the President of TMC. Rich, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good to see you again. So, one of the hot topics in communications these days is telepresence and, well, collaboration and conferencing in general, but telepresence specifically, for a number of reasons. One reason is it allows people to get together across vaster distances, thus saving the cost and the carbon, carbon destruction of traveling by plane and so on and so forth. So there's definitely a green story to it. But most recently this week, Rich and I had interesting experiences with Polycom. Polycom's a leader in the conferencing space. Many people are familiar with them. And so Rich and I were at different sides of the country, and unfortunately we weren't able to hook up via telepresence. But Rich, maybe you want to share a little bit about
Sure. I was at a ScanSource event. ScanSource is a big distributor in the communications market, as well as the point of sale and security, IP security especially. That's a big area for them as well, market. And while I was at their event, which is called Impact Now in Orlando, the Polycom booth had a demo screen, and I was able to see, and I actually blogged about and took a photo of the HDX 9000. So it was kind of interesting that I had a chance to see a Polycom demo, and Greg.
Right. So Rich saw the full room version of the telepresence.
Actually, mine wasn't a full room; it was two screens. So,
okay.
it was kind of like the
sort of
HD video, maybe is what you might want to call it.
Okay. So Rich was in Orlando. I was in San Francisco this week. And so I saw Polycom at a trade show, and they had several exhibits, obviously several demos going on. And I couldn't get in to see the HD telepresence demo because there was just a line of people backed up. But and it seemed like they were having a board meeting in there. I'm not sure, but they had a closed-off room where they had their full telepresence demo: 3 large-screen TVs, plasma screens, a conference desk, and the whole 9 yards. But what I did get a chance to see was their converged management application for their, it's a conferencing application which runs off a laptop.
Wow.
So it's sort of the other extreme, right? This is for the mobile worker, for the remote worker
Sure.
from their home, who's able to then join into a telepresence conference from wherever they are, and they don't lose any functionality. So it was a very neat thing. And the other big thing about the CMA was the robust nature of the administrator capabilities. So, I mean, there's the application that sits on your laptop, and then there's the application that sits, in the IT room where they can manage all the disparate devices. And I think they said they can manage thousands of devices,
Wow.
thousands of separate endpoints.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was just a pretty neat coincidence that both you and I were traveling this week.
Yeah.
We both saw Polycom conferencing solutions, and had we known, we could have had that conversation.
We could have communicated. How about that HD voice? Did you hear any of the HD voice while you were out there?
I did indeed. They have Polycom actually announced a new phone this week.
Oh, great.
The SoundPoint IP450, I believe, and it's another phone in their HD voice line. And I don't know if you've ever had a chance to demo the high definition voice or
I have.
wideband.
I've been in their office.
Right. Very cool. It's a dramatic difference in what
Sure.
you hear. And one of the questions I've been asking lots of people regarding HD voice is, what are some cool applications that you're using it for? And so far, most people are using it, and it just sort of makes things clearer for them, right? They hear better. They won't make any mistakes. When you say 15, if it's at 50 or 15, 50 or 15, so you don't accidentally ship the wrong amount to of product. But two of the cooler applications that I've come across is one is a company that's using these HD voice phones for a radio station.
Right.
And what they do is they'll deploy one's deployed at the radio station, and they'll ship a phone to somebody who they're interviewing. So
Right.
it's much less expensive than shipping the whole person, than flying the person out to interview them in
Sure.
person. And the quality of the voice, because they're using HD, makes it sound like the person's right there in studio with them. So that's one application. The other application is for simultaneous translation.
Sure.
So, because people aren't losing much, things don't get lost in translation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So they have a new phone in the HD voice lineup.
That's great.
So
Great
yeah,
stuff.
and actually, who else? Snome. They also released a new HD phone this week, and that is the Snome 820, I believe. So they're using a wideband codec as well. Last week we spoke about audio codes.
Sure.
Their whole new initiative in this space. So there's lots of companies getting involved in the space right now. It'd be interesting to get them all together and see, beyond the competitive nature of their businesses. It would be interesting to get them together and see what they think about the business proposition for HD in enterprises, and to see if there's some way to sort of promote this out to the enterprise community.
Well, to me, what's amazing is that the circuit switch world has been around for years and years, and there's been little innovation in sound quality, if any. And then VoIP came out, and people in the beginning weren't as happy because the quality wasn't quite there. It wasn't as good as some of the circuit switched offerings, and over time it got better and better to the point where it is on par with circuit switch, if not better, as long as you have the bandwidth. And now we're seeing that within 10 years or thereabouts, or Internet Telephony Magazine, the first issue came out in February of 1998.
Yep.
So in about 10 years, we are now seeing a leapfrog in voice quality technology. I guess the first 10 years we focused on just getting the quality to be good, but now as an industry, we're evolving to the next level. We're going to HD, and then after that, I'm looking forward to stereophonic voice over IP and 3D. I mean, those are the kinds of things. I mean, we've talked about Diamondware. I've never done it on video, but I've written about Diamondware. Nortel picked up the technology. It's stereophonic 3D, but eventually I would imagine that HD will transcend into surround sound and stereophonic, and it's got a lot more potential. Voice is going to get a lot better because of voice over IP.
Right, and one interesting thing to notice that it's not, it doesn't add that much of a premium price-wise to go from the traditional IP phones that most people are used to using to this next, to using the wideband codec. And from what I understand, it adds a little bit of overhead in terms of bandwidth usage, but not as much as people think. So it's really not that big a leap in terms of all the negative stuff that we do.
Well, less than video, right? So less than video, but more than traditional IP communications or voice over IP.
That's right. So so a big week for HD voice.
Great.
So cool. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
I'm Greg Galitzine in the TMC newsroom. Thanks.